Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is Mr. Ferguson. I hope y'all are having a great day today. Thanks for stopping by. I hope the video caught your eye. Poa versus Tenacity is part one, I guess is what you can call the name of this video. So I've made several cuts of this video and I'm going to try to shorten this up because I don't want to get too in depth. But basically, as an average Joe who is not a lawn care profession, I actually work in the IT field a little bit for my daytime job. And I'm just a guy that's trying to get my yard straight. And one of the things, I actually had a True Green guy stop by and try to sell me his product. And really, I've gotten in the habit this year, just as of February or so, of really enjoying coming out and working on my own yard. And if I have a great yard, I want to be able to say that I did it, not I paid a guy to come and spray it with his magical chemicals from his truck. But through that experience and talking with this guy, I learned about Poa Annua, which I had no idea about it, never heard of the word. I was like, Poa, what? And but he walked through the yard, obviously, got some measurements, and was telling me about this weed that I've got in my yard and how it spreads very easy, it's very hard to control. And I was like, crap, great, because I've let my yard slip for the past 2 years. And now that I'm trying to get back in the habit of working in my yard and seed and aerate and fertilize and all this good stuff, I found out I got this weed that's really hard to control. So for the past month or more, I've been doing a lot of research about Poa. And one of the things I can tell you is there's not a lot of really good answers out there for Poa Annua. I'm in central North Carolina, near the Raleigh area. And try to flip the camera down. If you're unfamiliar with what Poa is at this point and you're new to it, the camera is obviously not the best, to show you this. But let's see if I can pull one out here. All these little seed heads, man. This is the devil right here. So here's one. I don't know how well you can see that with that background. Maybe against my shirt it's a little bit better, but this is Poa Annua, and you can see the little seed heads vaguely. I know it's it's hard to with two hands trying to show you this, but if you see these all over your yard, that's Poa Annua. And it looks, it's a very light green. Here's some fescue. And then you've got some Poa Annua all around it, fescue Poa Annua. So Poa Annua is a cool season weed, and fescue is obviously a cool season turf. So therein lies the problem of trying to control a cool season weed and cool season grass. One of the things that I've learned is that prodiamine can be your friend. Prodiamine is a pre-emergent though. It's a herbicide, but it's a pre-emergent. It's not a post. So putting prodiamine on this Poa Annua in my yard is not going to kill it. This will die out in the summer. Poa Annua does end up dying out in the summer because it's a cool season weed. It germinates when temperatures fall below 55. It starts popping up, and it's with you all the way into the next summer until it gets hot here in North Carolina, and it'll eventually die out, and I have a lot of dead grass or bare spots in my yard where I don't have fescue. So basically, to be short, for fescue people out there, how do we control this? What is our options? Well, really it's prodiamine, like I mentioned, prodiamine in the spring, early spring, and in the late spring, and then an optional third application in the fall is what the lawn care nut recommends. And that is because, obviously, like we said, when Poa Annua germinates, when temperatures drop below 55 degrees in your soil, that's when Poa Annua starts popping up. So prior to that, you want to get a layer of prodiamine down in the fall so that when that Poa Annua starts to try to germinate, it hits that prodiamine barrier in your soil and burns it up, and it never pops up. And then obviously you're going to have some slip through, but it's the best method to control it with a pre-emergent like prodiamine. Now, when you do this, obviously you can't aerate and seed, which is what a lot of us like to do in the fall time. We think about getting out the core aerator, getting our seed in our spreader and going at it. And if you have Poa, the lawn care note suggests that we have a decision to make as fescue people or lawn owners, and that is either to do the prodiamine app in the fall or to seed. It's one or the other, obviously, because we would just be wasting our seed if we threw down prodiamine and then throw down $300 for the aerator and seed together or whatever. You'd be wasting that because the prodiamine is just going to stop your seed from germinating. So therein lies the problem. So there is one thing, and that is the whole reason for this video, called Tenacity. It's a newer product that came out not too long ago that you'll see many other people can talk about and show you that have already went through what I'm going to do today. But Tenacity is a product that acts as a pre and post emergent, but it's on the label, it will tell you that Poa Annua is only suppressed by Tenacity. So it doesn't say it will kill it, it says it will suppress it. Now, one of the cool things about Tenacity, which is what I'm going to try to do this fall, and hopefully on my channel we can go through it together and you can see whether it works or not, is I'm going to try to aerate my yard and seed, because I didn't do it last year because I was a slack off, and I need to do that. So otherwise I would be putting down prodamine this fall, but since I didn't seed and aerate last year, I'm doing it this year. But I'm also, in addition to the aerating and seeding, you can put down Tenacity. And so my hope is, through several applications after seeding and aerating, I'm going to put down Tenacity in my yard, and hopefully it can suppress the Poa enough where I can at least get a good amount of seed coming in and fescue. And then maybe the next year I'm going to try to do the prodamine in the fall if I can get my grass right. But it's going to be an ongoing project. If you have Poa in your yard and you're looking to get rid of that stuff, it's going to be a project. It's going to be a war. So prepare yourself for that. The prodamine typically costs, I think, around 70 bucks. Tenacity itself for an 8 fluid ounce bottle is around 70 bucks. But the Tenacity, you only use about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon per gallon, if I'm not mistaken. But do your research, read the label, it says it clearly on there. There's a cool little syringe it comes with that tells you, if you're filling up a 2-gallon sprayer, you fill the syringe up to the 2 line and drop it in, and it's almost dummy proof. So that's really cool. Glad Tenacity did that for idiots like myself that's just trying to improve their yard. So anyways, guys, we're going to try to, today for the video, I'm going to turn this around. Obviously from the edge of my house here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this area, in May 1st today, I'm going to spray this area right here with Tenacity, and we're just going to see what it does. I'm just testing the product out. Obviously this is like 95% Poa over here. There's not a lot of fescue at all. My front yard looks a little better. The side yard by the tree has some fescue, but this is the worst Poa I have in my yard. So I figured, why not? I've had the Tenacity for like 2 months now. I haven't used it. So it's mid-May, it's hot. The Poa is gonna probably die soon anyways, but I was like, hey, let's spray it. Maybe the heat combined with Tenacity, one application will maybe kill it. But just wanted to show you what it looks like. Now, from other videos, it should turn it white. It should highlight any of the weeds in the yard besides the fescue. And sometimes even your fescue will get turned white as well. But that should bounce back and regain the chlorophyll in it, because it shouldn't kill it. But for the Poa, it should suppress it. And with the combination of the heat, it may just completely dry it out anyways. So we're gonna spray this, guys, and then we'll come back in a second. All right, so that is done. So what we'll do is we'll come back in a couple days, maybe a week, and we'll see, how it looks, and see what Tenacity is doing here, and really just to find out, what it's going to do. Is it going to kill it? Is it going to suppress it? Is it going to hurt my fescue that I do have over here, which is not a lot, but hey, we'll find out together. So thanks for stopping by. This is like an ongoing video. We may have 2 or 3 of these videos. So we'll find out if Tenacity is something that will suppress or kill in mid-May in North Carolina. And hopefully this fall, when we put it down with our seed, we'll be able to grow grass seed and suppress the Poa at least a little bit, because man, I hate my yard having this much Poa in it, man. I'm all about fighting this stuff. So join with me, follow along. Part 1, we sprayed a little area to just test it and see what Tenacity looks like. We'll be back in a few weeks to see what happens. So thank you guys. Thanks for following. Subscribe if you can. If not, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.